Millions of Chinese women are still single well into their 30s, and in China, this has become one of the biggest social debates of the last 2 decades. In a country where marriage used to be almost mandatory, where women in their early 20s were expected to settle down, the sight of countless women in big cities still unmarried at 30 or even 35 is not just unusual, it's controversial. It cuts across culture, economics, family expectations, and the clash between old traditions and modern ambitions. At 42, unmarried and without children, I've already passed the best age for having kids. Now nobody contacts me anymore, my phone is completely silent. All my classmates and friends around me are already married. If I keep going on like this, the result is that when I grow old and weak, there will be no one to take care of me, and I'll be left lonely and isolated. People say that if you have money, you can go into a nursing home. But if someone bullies you, there's not even a single person to stand up for you. And for a whole lifetime, there won't even be someone you can talk to heart to heart. For most of Chinese history, women were expected to marry young. A woman at 25 without a husband would already be looked at with suspicion, and families would worry she might miss her chance. Marriage wasn't just about love, it was about stability, carrying on the family name, and following society's rules. Fast forward to modern China, and the landscape looks completely different. In Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and other urban hubs, you'll find millions of highly educated women, working top jobs, earning solid salaries, and living independently. Yet when it comes to marriage, many of them are still single, either by choice or by circumstance. A woman who's 35 and still unmarried basically has close to zero chance of getting married in this lifetime. A couple of days ago, I went to the matchmaking corner, and I noticed that many women have been waiting there for years without finding a partner. I approached one woman whose requirements weren't too high and asked her, "Would you accept a divorced man with a child?" She hesitated for a long time and then said no. She didn't want to be a stepmother and felt it was unfair. But to be honest, by around 40 you're already considered an advanced age mother. And if you can't have kids and also aren't willing to help raise someone else's, it's really difficult to find a partner. After all, men who have never been married and don't have kids won't look for you, and those with similar conditions will think you're too old. Women like this usually end up as single old ladies in the end. Do you think I'm right? The Chinese government even has a phrase that became popular over the years, "shengnu," which means leftover women. It's a harsh, almost insulting term used to describe women over the age of 27 who are unmarried. The idea behind the term is that by the late 20s, a woman's value in the marriage market has supposedly dropped. It's a deeply patriarchal way of looking at things, but it reflects the pressure that single women face. Families nag them during New Year gatherings, neighbors whisper, and online debates never stop. So why are so many Chinese women single at 30 plus? The first, and perhaps biggest reason is education and career. Over the last few decades, China invested massively in higher education, and more women than ever before enrolled in universities. Today, there are actually more female university graduates than male graduates in China. Women pursued master's degrees, PhDs, and climbed corporate ladders. That brought independence and financial security. But with independence comes choice. A woman who earns well, lives in her own apartment, and travels abroad doesn't feel the urgent need to marry just for survival. I don't think I can go on living. I was born in 1993, I'm 32 this year. I have no house, no car, I'm unmarried and have no children. I once tried starting my own business, but I failed. At the beginning of the year, the company I was working for went bankrupt, and I left. It's been over half a year now. When I go out looking for work, because of my age and the fact that I'm unmarried and have no children, I keep getting rejected. Now I don't even have the courage to look for a job anymore. I feel lost and directionless. Every day I just lie in my shabby rented room, scrolling through videos, feeling like there's no hope in life. I don't have any special skills, nor the luck that some girls have. I once thought my 30s would be wonderful, but I never imagined I'd end up like this. At this age, I don't tell my parents anything anymore. I don't want them to worry. Watching the balance in my bank account shrink day by day, I feel more and more lost. At 32, I just feel like such a failure. In earlier times, marriage was almost the only way for a woman to secure her future. Now, she can secure her own. But this empowerment clashes with traditional male expectations. Many Chinese men, especially those raised with old-school values, still prefer to marry a woman who is younger, less educated, and more dependent. A highly educated woman in her 30s with her own apartment in Beijing might actually scare off a man who feels insecure about her success. He might prefer a 24-year-old with fewer demands. This creates a strange paradox. The very achievements that should make women more attractive, intelligence, financial stability, independence, end up reducing their marriage opportunities in a society where men are used to having the upper hand. Another factor is China's gender imbalance. Due to the one-child policy and years of preference for baby boys, China now has millions more men than women. On paper, this should mean women have the advantage. But the reality is different. Many of those extra men are in rural areas, with limited income or education, and women in big cities do not want to marry down. A 31-year-old marketing executive in Shanghai is not going to settle for a rural farmer in Henan province, no matter how desperate her family is for her to marry. The pool of suitable men shrinks dramatically once you consider education, income, and lifestyle compatibility. Parental pressure adds another layer to this problem. How many unmarried women in their 20s can really stay calm? From what we've seen, 9 out of 10 are clutching their phones late at night, swiping on dating apps. But in the daytime, if you try to talk to them, they act tough, saying things like, "I'm single, I'm free, I'll just let fate decide." Deep down, though, they know better than anyone that if they drag it out much longer, even having kids will become a problem. But what good does being anxious do? The high-quality men, they were snatched up early on by women born after 2000, the ones on the same wavelength. Either they're already married with kids or they're divorced, so the standards start dropping. Education requirements fall from PhD to bachelor's. Salary expectations get cut in half. Even the most important factor, height, drops from 1.80 m to 1.70 m. And the most frustrating part, even after lowering their standards to rock bottom, those men still say, "Hey, if I had those qualities, why wouldn't I have already been married by 25? Harsh words, but that's the truth. Now you understand why dating is so difficult. It's not that all the good men have gone extinct. It's just that everyone is stuck competing in the wrong lanes. Chinese parents often believe it is their duty to ensure their children are married. You'll see parents standing in marriage markets in city parks, holding up signs advertising their son or daughter's age, height, job, and salary, hoping to attract a match. Imagine being a 32-year-old woman with your mother advertising your profile to strangers in a park. It's embarrassing, but it happens all the time. Yet even with all this matchmaking effort, many women still hold back. They don't just want to marry anyone, they want a partner they truly connect with. And in modern China, that's becoming harder to find. After a woman passes 30, why do most men become very concerned? There are mainly 3 reasons. The first is the issue of childbirth. Childbearing age is a very important factor for women. 99% of marriages are, in the end, about having children. Think about it. If you get together with a man at 30, from getting to know each other to confirming the relationship, doesn't it usually take about a year and a half? That means the stage of wanting children would be around age 32. At that time, having kids brings a lot of challenges for women: physical tolls, career sacrifices, and greater difficulties in adapting to each other. The second reason is that if you are unmarried past 30, the other side will definitely ask, "Why hasn't she married yet?" They will wonder if there's some issue. Maybe she's too picky, maybe she's been hurt in past relationships, or maybe there are problems with her family background. This isn't just about women. When women face older unmarried men, they have the same concerns. The third reason is that as age increases, most women's looks and mentality decline. Once a woman is in her 30s, maintaining her appearance inevitably requires effort and money. And her mindset won't be as simple as a girl in her early 20s, because she's already seen and experienced a lot. So for most men, since they have a choice, they would rather choose someone younger, with fewer complications in her thinking.